I should keep this.
You should keep it on.
It's a keeper. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good. We're good now.
It actually look very good on you though.
With our guitar strumming, we'll keep it warm.
We're starting good. We're starting good.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, hi.
Hello.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, I came because I was invited to the Beardus. I tried to grow it, but this is it. This is a
You're
fire.
gonna do the thing.
Yeah,
You gotta flip it around.
Yeah.
Let's flip it around.
You bring that up as a dog.
Yeah, it doesn't work, man. And I was shaving this morning, and I said, no, you're not gonna shave. You're going to the Beardus. So you're gonna keep it, and this is it. This is 5 months of. Excited to be here. My name is Pedro Miguel Gonzalez. I'm from Venezuela.
Okay. It's a very, very
Gonzalez, Rodriguez, Hernandez,
Yeah.
Hernando.
Yeah, everyone makes a joke about Speedy Gonzalez. Speedy Gonzalez. Speedy Gonzalez. Yes. And then I say Pedro. So it's like the perfect name for a salsa teacher. Pedro Gonzalez.
Pedro Gonzalez. I'll be honest, we tried to Google you,
Yeah.
and there's like a soccer player.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a boxer.
He's a comedian. He's a
Comedian?
Yeah, very
Okay.
good. He's a very good comedian. Yeah.
What's up with the Cortez? Because you,
Yes. So to answer the Cortez one, I really like the story because it comes from my mom. My mom says, "Lo cortés no quita lo valiente."
okay.
Cortez, this is a word that I don't know how to pronounce. You help me. Courteous.
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 Courteous. That's the name.
I like how you checked with me. At the end.
Yeah, I forgot it. Courteous. Courteous. So, if you're courteous, you can also be brave and you can also be kind. So it comes from that way. My brother, I was in Canada in Banff in a holiday with my brother, and we had this date night between the two of us, and we went to a hot spring, outside hot spring, and it was snowing, and I was looking for a name. I didn't know what to say, and my brother said to me, "Concedo Sentes," and that was the name. Yeah, that was in 2018 when we
So
filmed.
how much does he get percentage-wise?
Nothing. Yeah.
See, that's.
He actually brought it. He was a good investor. He was one of the best investors that we had. Yeah. It is.
I'll take your name.
Yeah.
I doesn't give you nothing.
Yeah, I give you nothing now, but yeah, he's my brother. He's been beautiful. He's in Canada. He's doing well.
Does he look like you?
Exactly the same as me with your hair.
Okay, so me. So it's me.
Exactly.
Is it a teacher up there?
Nah, he's an engineer. He does chemical engineer. He purifies water, and now he works in plants in, I don't know, plastic something. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
That's right.
Venezuelan style, very Latino. Oh, I'm very proud. I used to be the one that danced the least. Yeah, and he does it well. He does it well. He enjoys it well. You need to see my dad, my brother, and my two brothers. They're great dancers.
Okay.
Yeah, they are very, very good. Good dance.
For those who don't know, so what's the cumbia style? Why is that different?
But that's the thing is back in my day
Yes.
is when you used to call yourself a Latino who can dance. It's usually just a one step, and it's the cumbia step.
Yeah.
So you can do the cumbia step because that's the only thing you're doing.
It's like crossing the legs back, crossing, and that's it. And that's all we need actually to enjoy a full song. We just stand closer to one another. We do that step again and again, and maybe we have 2 or 3 combinations with one turn like that.
Yeah.
Did you guys learn that at home? What? How does this happen? How do you guys?
It's the home parties or
Yeah.
just kind of embedded in the culture. It's
Yeah.
wherever you go, you just that's the.
So-
and it was all dances. It didn't matter what you were doing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
salsa, bachata, doesn't matter.
I remember partying with my Indian friends, and there was Bollywood.
Would you point at me when you sing?
I don't know. Bollywood and a TV, and then watching videos and then clapping.
Yeah.
And it looks like you grew up with that. That's what you do in high school when you go out. Sometimes and you drink. In my case, I went out to dance merengue,
Yeah.
and I went out to dance salsa, and I didn't know much. I just jumped, and it was tricky. I actually started dancing later. But I have one girlfriend, and I said, if you don't dance, you and I, nah.
It's always a girl.
Yeah. And
It's always a girl.
yeah, she took 2 weeks to teach me and to explain the
And you took 3 weeks just to make sure.
intricate parts of cumbia step or that crossing back.
Yeah.
And she told me, after that, took off.
Then you make sure her into
That was the first time.
time.
Oh, I was 15.
okay.
I was 15 at the time. Yeah, it was my first love with dancing.
Oh,
Yeah, I still remember the music. Chichi Peralta, very nice. Guaco, good music, Venezuelan music, and also Puerto Rican. Yeah, there was a lot of music there. Yeah, it's
So
very
you
nice.
grew up with a lot of music and dancing in general, or is that how did you get into dancing?
Well, that's another girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah.
When I was at uni, there was a group that was very popular, and I really always liked dancing, and I would like performing. I didn't know that I liked it that much, but they said, "Oh, you should try this," and I went to try a salsa class, and that's it. I got hooked, and then after that, we found Cuban salsa, which is Rueda de Casino, and it was great. It was even better.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it, but I think if I have to answer properly the question, I always did sports.
Okay.
I always enjoy in learning things. I did a sport because of my parents, of course. My two brothers were high achievers in baseball, and I meant to be another high achiever, but I didn't kind of find that discipline
Okay.
was important for sports. I didn't find that until I started playing instruments. And this is the part that connects the two
What do you
things.
play?
I play drum set. Drum kit. That's how
Drum
you call it.
kit?
The drum
Yeah.
set, yes.
Okay.
I played drum kit, and I did it through.
Learning new facts about you.
Yeah,
Never played drums.
I learned through high school a little bit, and then at uni I had my band, and I did that part.
Okay.
So right now I can't hear pretty well.
Hey, it's a drama because
But at the end, I really enjoy the connection with music and movement, and it's always very aggressive in a way, like big, not aggressive necessarily, but big. And
I think look, we're all a bunch of drummers. Hey, it's a couch full of drummers.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, I think it's always important to have some instrument. I think it's like maybe you guys are like, as an Asian guy, I'm representing all Asians.
Yeah.
We're all forced to kind of learn some instrument. You never get why, but you meet people and you go, oh, they don't have an internal like a rhythm going. They don't have a metronome when they hear music. So when you play, like even when we have people drumming for us, for the Modombe tribe, you can tell like some people don't have the metronome to stay in a rhythm. And that comes from that education when you were kids and you learn an instrument.
Yeah,
Really?
that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact that my parents forced me into candombe
Yeah.
when I was a baby, then
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even knew what a clave was.
Oh,
Because the clave for us, we call madera.
yeah.
It's the same. It's the same
Yeah,
as
it's the
Cuban
same.
clave. And
It's
I was
the-
like, I figured that out, that in Cuban rumba, we have a same clave.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah. It is the same. It is the same.
And then you go, even if you go somewhere else,
Yeah.
like let's say Congo, and you listen to some ndombolo,
Yeah.
and they have the clave, and then you
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah.
Afro
I
Cuban.
forgot what's good.
I think
Yeah,
it's a
right.
human rhythm. Like even I
Yeah,
never heard
yeah.
that, but as like when you taught me how to play it, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know why this feels so natural. It feels so like old
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter which continent you're from. There's a certain
Was
beat
it
to it.
Afrobeat that style that was one of these festivals that is very popular now, and we went to a class that you were there.
With Alex?
With Alex, was
Alex Mabanga?
Yes, yeah,
We went to his
yeah,
class.
we were. So I went to this festival. It was Adelaide last year, and I went focused. I'm gonna perform, and I'm gonna do the show with Tiffany at the end of the night. And I arrived early because you got to train and you're gonna practice to be ready before the tech. And this is workshop finishing, and I couldn't resist the power and the energy and the rhythm.
Yeah.
It was like something I never done anything like it. That it connected too quick, and it's because it's African roots. They call you. They are you.
Yeah.
That color is not random.
Yeah.
It has something there. It has something
I know.
that you can express, and everyone, for example, they perform in our showcase, and everyone has something to say about them because the way that they move and the energy, and it has to be with the way that you express with a music that express happiness. Bachata have this a little bit more tone of sensuality, and salsa have this upbeat and elegance. But this is just raw and beautiful, and it's just fun. And then when we do the workshop, it's like, again, one of my favorite classes that I ever taken in my life. It's just beautiful, and you can't compare that.
It's funny because I think even though the the crux of everything comes from Africa, or everything for us anyway. So Latin American, our music, a crux of it, a little bit comes from Africa. But I think that the Cubans are the ones who really solidified the clave for us musically.
Yeah.
And then it's that the popularity of the Cuban music come back to Africa.
Yeah.
And then they start to make them more modern style. With like everything you listen to now, like Ndumbolo, Kupeya, Kale, all the Afro beats, or even the high life that they kind of take more from the jazz and funk.
Yeah.
But the Cuban rhythms, because a lot of their music, you couldn't, they weren't allowed to listen to a lot of their music. So they listened to Cuban music.
Yeah.
I think even from the other side of the pond, a big pond, we had similar things. Like I grew up listening to a lot of Indian songs.
Yeah.
And even the Indian rhythms, there is something from back in Africa. Like when with learning a few drum things, I go like, I know this, because this root of that still comes from Africa.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I think a lot of brown people, especially from India and the southern part of Asia, love to do salsa, bachata. When they get introduced to it, there's something that feels like home.
Yeah.
In there. We don't know what it is. I still can't bring it down to, this is what's similar. But there's something in there that calls to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's, in a weird way, we don't understand the language. We don't understand, but we understand feeling.
Yeah.
And we understand the flavor, and we understand rhythm.
It took me a long time to link these two things of feeling the music and my past. But when I talk about two people in my life, in this case, my grandma and my dad loved to go out and comes the next day after a whole night of simple drum music, which is a more aboriginal kind of like real, I would say more African roots than the indigenous one. More African roots that we have, and they happen in certain part, but they're related to religion. They're related to how they found the way to keep it going.
Right.
And they exist, but it's basically party, drinking, drums, and it's just that. And my dad, he loved it. He used to go all the time. And we weren't allowed to go. We were not allowed.
With the drinking.
Yeah, well, later when the country became a little bit more dangerous, it was obvious because people started, they say he did something wrong against his gang. What do you do? His gang, and then he know that you're going because everyone goes to pay the promises up to that party. So you want to wait for you there. You know what happened. So that kind of things became very common in my hometown even. Okay. So I understood that you don't go over to those places. However, there were a more public setup on parties that I got to go in my 20s, and which I really enjoyed a lot. It was simple. It's just circles, two people, usually a male and a female dancing together, and then they switch. No order, no one matters. You just push them, dance together, and that happened for hours. And this is the same songs, the same simple structure of the music, 4 or 5 drums at the same time going with sticks and big pieces of a trunk, and you just play music and simple chorus.
What was it called?
Tambor de San Millán. Tambor de San Millán.
Is that of that area? Or?
It's an area in my hometown that is very popular for Venezuela, and everyone will know. But different regions of my country will have those. But I didn't go. To any of these parties until I was almost 20.
Right.
Yet, this party always come to every wedding. Every wedding will have a section of the night. Yeah. Even here, I went to a Venezuelan party here like a year ago. And we had a tambor section. It was beautiful because the music is the same. It's part of La Hora Loca, the crazy hour, when you play all kind of music. And it was beautiful to have that and to have that structure. And I loved it. And I think it is a love that comes very easy. It is we know what we do.
We flipped it.
We flipped it. Yeah.
It sounds.
Yeah. That's what it should be.
I should keep this.
You should keep it on.
It should keep it. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We're good now.
Very good now.
That's
We're
real
better,
good.
we're better.
How do you feel when somebody does this?
Yeah, they actually look very good on you, though. I have to
It does.
say.
You know what? How many people told me this?
Yeah.
Like when I first bought this, we did this for a festival. I don't know what it was, but there's
I don't remember.
yeah, and I had this on, and I remember I took a photo with you. Hopefully, I'll show you just now.
Yeah.
And it looks so good, and it looked good on me and you. And I was like, oh, and this is when you were starting to grow it out too.
Yeah, it looks great. Do you know how
This
many?
is what it looks like inside. Just
How many people?
Yeah, this is his actual.
This is actually yeah.
The other day I was walking and it said like a guy passes and I said, "Oh, is that real? Yeah, it is real. It is real, bro. It looks great."
You know, you don't get a lot of people with afros here.
Yeah,
Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I have to say, since I had it, when I had it 1st especially when it's combed properly and it's big around it, people pay more attention to it. But I've seen more and more people, and I think, especially in Melbourne, that is so multicultural.
Yeah.
We're getting used to having them around, and it's very nice.
It doesn't feel special anymore, huh?
It still feels special, you know. It still feels nice. It still feels like we pioneered something.
Okay,
Yeah, which is beautiful.
okay, owning it. I like it. This is yours now, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Sorry, this is beard and bald head isn't exactly niche anymore. There's a lot of people.
No, it's not.
It's the thing.
Everybody's good.
I like to think I started it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who say they started it. But all right.
I think you know who started it, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. They on the scouts.
You got hair when I was bald.
That's true. That's true. But your beard didn't look like that when you started.
That's true. I took the beard.
It looks
I
great.
took
though.
the beard look from you.
Okay, yeah.
I did take the.
I took the bold look from you.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
I mean, this one is easier to pull off. Like,
I swear I try. I try.
No. Keep it, man. Keep it.
I try.
We all need to have somebody.
you made up for it.
Yeah, I made up. I try. Yeah.
As long as the curtain doesn't match the carpet. Yeah.
I mean, I'd almost be upset if it wasn't. Like,
It has to.
it's just got a little comb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
a little
Just
one
a
of
little
these.
one.
One of these.
Yeah. I actually got one of those little combs that can do the work probably. Yeah. I don't know when I got it.
Why do you have little?
Because some people use it for the head.
The
No. This is for this one.
Okay, let's get to some questions.
Yes.
You are
And
multi-champion.
yes.
What have you done?
What have I done?
What's your biggest achievement?
The biggest achievement. The biggest achievement. To be honest, I think is undoubtedly is the Afro. Undoubtedly, and buying these boots. No. I would say honestly, the biggest achievement for me is I am very proud of our last event that I have. He was part of it. It was called La Familia 2024. That's the event that I'm more proud of. That I think, everything started coming together, and I could see people is trusting the industry more and trusting us to create an event that it was the perfect example of its name, which is La Familia. It was beautiful to make it, to see it happening with live band. We actually choreographed and danced. We danced to a live band, and I didn't do that since the show, Salsa the Show, which is another great achievement. And again, most of the achievement that I'm most proud are not a thing of me doing all the training and performing. Is a group of people being able to create something beautiful, and those are the things that I'm proud. In regards to my dancing, I started in Australia to compete. I competed in Venezuela, and of course we did a couple of championships, and I won one that I remember pretty well that helped me to understand how much I loved performing. It was called a Sambi Championship. It was great.
You said you remember it, but it sounds like you don't remember it. Is it like so many championships that you forgot, man? Is that what's happening here?
So in the national in Australia and the Asia Pacific,
Yeah.
I will have something around, I don't know, 40, 45.
That's it? Oh, yeah.
wow.
I thought you were professional.
I have only 3, and I'm like, I'm happy with 3. This motherfucker.
I'll tell you my one. It's just just the one. Social dance. You dance social dance in Melbourne.
It's the one that says
Yeah.
you attended.
Yes.
I just like
You were here.
But a funny story about that, which is interesting. I told you about my brothers being high achievers, and I love them, and they always did great in sports. So I used to arrive home, and there's always this room where all the trophies were there.
Yeah.
We're talking about my younger brother being world champion on baseball when he was 10, and my older brother having gone to nationals every year after year. And baseball is the biggest sport in my country, Venezuela. So many trophies. And I only have participation trophies as part of those trophies for me.
Okay. How about
And I said, maybe one day I will have some trophy.
They just peaked early, man.
Yeah.
Just like at 10.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do the rest of your life? You know, just hold on to those trophies.
Yeah, but honestly,
What's he doing now? Engineering? Oh,
honestly, no. The trophies, they're entertainment for the clients in a way.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, they could bring some students and they would pay attention to the trophies, but they don't necessarily are that important for me, I would say.
We think so too. I think 40, especially 40, not that important. Unless you cross 50, are you really a dancer?
Yeah.
maybe a pair of them.
Yeah. We'll buy you some. I think I get to buy. I mean, I always tell people, like, in our community, it's different. It's how many certificates you got, how many educational stuff we got. All I say to most people is, I know Photoshop.
Yeah.
Hey, what certificate do you need? Huh?
Yeah.
I can make it. Harvard University or whatever. I can make it.
I got all these doctorates.
Yes.
I'm a doctor.
Now watch, I'll Photoshop a lot.
It's true.
So I have a question.
Question.
So your 40 awards when it comes to championships,
Yeah.
when it comes to salsa and bachata.
Yeah.
So we obviously have one big question for you.
Yeah.
Why is salsa so gay?
Why are you gay?
Why? Why is that so gay?
Funny story in regards to that. I had my doubts when I was when I was like 29. And because I was dancing in my country, I was back home, and you don't dance that is gay,
Okay.
period. There is no middle ground on that. And that's what the culture is telling you. That's what my dad probably thought, and he probably was embarrassed. But I'm putting words in his mouth. Probably didn't thought about that. My mom probably didn't care. No one actually cared. Whatever you do with your life.
This became serious. Just kidding.
No, but I like that part of the story. And it got to a point where I actually doubted myself.
If you're gay, or
He's always gay. No, so I don't find it gay. He has a spot. But then I asked myself and I asked around, and no, I'm not gay.
Okay.
Yeah, and salsa, I don't find it necessarily. I found that in general, the culture and the way that you dance, as soon as you stretching around, it could see that something feminine. As soon as you have the capabilities of owning more movement in a way that it would make you look a little bit maybe more feminine, that would be the word that I will use. Some people might think that.
Look, the thing is, we've talked about this in length and joked about it and all that.
Yeah.
But it just seems like, and I have a theory why.
Yeah.
A lot of salsa movement come off. You can do the same movements, masculine and feminine, but a lot of salsa is already kind of Bibled, like it's written solid, and it's the way you supposed to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's all the other elements that come with it, the costumes,
Yeah.
right? Girls, why?
Yeah.
Why with the whole like lace and diamonds and all of that?
Yeah.
My theory is the beginning.
You can ask Superman, for example.
What do you mean?
The costumes are very tiny.
He have, it's not the tightness.
Yeah.
Did he have a cleavage?
Maybe Aquaman? No?
No.
I think
I think Aquaman has one of those.
little guy.
I mean, he looks like he can do salsa. He does look like he can do salsa.
He does salsa. Aquaman too.
Do you like fish sticks?
Yeah.
You're a gay.
Sure, yeah. There you go. He has a stick.
He likes
He likes
to talk to animals. Listen, if you can talk to a fish with big ass lips,
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So back to that. I think, look, my theory is in the beginning, a lot of the male dancers were actually gay.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of feminine influence in the costume. Like, you look great in the costume, but even in your costumes, I go like, man, you're really holding on to your masculinity.
Yeah.
Like, they need to look like you to look masculine.
Yeah.
And that too is like, oh, that's what it's like. It's like, you know, when a built dude wears a dress, it feels a little bit like that. Like, he's pulling it off. He still looks masculine.
Yeah.
But you still know it's a dress. You know what I mean?
And I think it's in your eyes that is also as well right now educated towards these kind of topics.
Sure.
So you have still eyes that still perceive things with a different. You have a more understanding point of view, a more bias.
Look, it's biased on both ends, right?
Yeah, but
you grew up with that culture.
Not really.
Okay.
Compared with anyone in Venezuela,
Right.
in general, those outfits would be too tight. Yeah, in general.
I don't know if it's the tightness. I think it's the rest of it. It's the
Sparkling.
The sparkling revealingness
Yeah.
is different. And the funny thing is, and this is what my dad would say.
I had to qualify.
Yes.
I love all my outfits though.
Okay. I think it's a lot of you making the outfits more masculine. But if I wore the same thing, I would look like I had boobs. You know what I mean? And I feel bad. Like, I've seen bigger dancers wear it, and I'm like, thank you. I mean, I grew up myself. But you know, if I wore those kind of, and not just me, like, I see bigger dancers wear it, and it's so unfair to them. They look like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not it's built for a specific type of body, and it's also built for, how do I say it? Like,
Well, this is an interesting topic because now that you're bringing it, you bring to my mind athletes, runners,
right?
and athletics.
Yeah.
Anyone. You pick any of those outfits. We should have a funny incident with fans.
Yeah.
So all those outfits, if you actually see them, they are a little bit less revealing than any dance outfit.
Yeah.
A little bit more revealing, actually. A little bit.
Sure.
But they don't have that connotation. When you see Usain Bolt,
It's still
running,
cut more masculine. It's okay. My point is, there are things that highlight, right?
Yeah.
For a more feminine body, you want to show hips, butt, boobs.
Yeah.
For a more masculine body, it's more shoulders, arms, abs.
I understand.
Right? But it seems to still, for like I'm generalizing.
Yeah.
A lot of salsa costumes, for example, have this beat, right?
Yeah.
By the way, that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to get into salsa, because I was like, fuck, one day I might need to perform and I need to wear this thing.
It's same.
What is it exaggerating? Boobs? Like cleavage?
Yeah.
Like, if it had like, if it's cut here and it's open that way, okay, it shows abs.
Yeah.
What's this? What is it? Like, you know what I mean? It looks more of a cleavage than it is at. I might be again, I am looking at it from an outside.
Yeah.
And maybe culturally it's different. But I think looking from an outside, I'm like, what? Who designed this?
Well,
why is this
the thing? The thing is, there is, like in everything, there is people with a lot of bad taste. So I would say that that's a reality. Even for us, when you go to competitions and you sit down, and even when you go and judge competition, it is sometimes horrifying what you could see, and that doesn't do something that they don't do the best for their own bodies, and they also they could be a little bit. I'm not sure if it's intentional. I don't think it is intentional. It's probably part of the coaching and the system and the help that they got around the outfits, but they don't do what they should do for that.
Right.
So outfits are, in my point of view, as a way of empowering.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, wearing an outfit is literally putting a superhero suit, and I think not everyone have the knowledge of the mean to kind of find something that suits their body or and the spans and being able to cover the spans that they actually represent.
I agree with you. I think a lot of dancers actually dress nice in real life. I don't know why that can't translate. Like, you're right. It should empower dancers, but it's deflowering them. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
So where does that come from? Where does the most like effeminate way of dressing come from?
So I'm trying to think in principle who inspired me to wear those kind of outfits, and I struggled to figure out what was my main inspiration. I always loved my outfit, and I still remember my 2009 outfits, and I think, and I didn't know where they came from. It was only when I started traveling and I came to Australia and I asked and I found this ballroom Latin world, and especially the male outfits is always the same.
Right.
These pants that are not tight necessarily, they're big.
Yeah.
But those
flares.
those dancers inspire a popularity and competitions around the world. In 2005, 6, there were world competitions of salsa that already had that influence, and they dress like Latin and ballroom. They already have that feeling that you're mentioning. And I think it's in that part in those years around the 2000s where they started happening. And I thought it was that. I think ballroom has a lot to do on this. But when you look back to the actual times of salsa on the 70s and 60s, they also were there.
Yeah.
So they were there full on.
Even the Cubans, if you look at the really old, like 1900s, well, they have the big poof things.
Yeah, it was their own
arms.
Yeah.
And they wore tight.
Yeah.
Some of them would have like.
So how come it hasn't? Is it a legacy thing, or is it how come it hasn't
I think
well,
a bit of both.
evolved? Like where's the new costume? Like even if you think of like Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Every year they have a new cut and new thing. Some of them are experiments, some of them are terrible. But then you can see the evolution of a uniform or an evolution of a trend. Or you know what I mean? Or like, oh, now we have new material that's now, fiberglass. You know what I mean? How come there was no evolution in...
I believe in these sports is more driven to science and to practicalities and to benefits in regards to any of the other one. Of course, you have basketball that they stopped using short shorts to use longer shorts because of the look. I don't know. In our industry, those arms are even more popular these days. Yeah.
Is it a legacy thing? Is it to look like those older dancers?
It is actually practical when you're performing because it can enhance your movement. So I tend to put a lot of little bits and different things on my shoulder and shoulder pads to make the movement of my body a little bit bigger. So it's related to showing more movement and mobility.
I get it. Looks as from the design's point of view, I get why they. So yes, you're right. Some of those will enhance the movement.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between, let's just say, I'm just picking out of the air, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference between, for example, imagine an army uniform with the frills, with like a golden frills. That looks cooler and more masculine than I'm wearing a white shirt with pink flamingo pink
colors.
stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It does the same effect.
Yeah.
But it seems to tend towards let's do the most effeminate colors. Let's do the most effeminate. Even though you're right, the shapes, the sparkliness, it does enhance it.
Yeah. Well,
especially on stage.
I know we're talking about dancing, but it doesn't. For me, one of the things that come to my mind is going to compete and trying to figure it out how to compete in bachata male category. Impossible.
Why?
Because it's a feminine category. It's
Why
a male.
that?
Because that's what the dancers that wanted to dance solo were probably gay or probably gay, and they like that style of dancing, and the movement were very feminine, and they were very contemporary and infused movements. And the whole competition, when you watch it, you struggle to see the masculine look. And there is a big competition in Spain called La Negra, and the champion and the couple that won that this last year, they were very Dominican look and style. It was very cool. It was possible. But we have in the solo category someone that was dancing that could be competing against any of the female, but with a lot more power because they're men.
Yeah.
And men still more powerful and more explosive and more impactful in many things that they do, but very feminine nonetheless.
So is there like a trend, or like what happens if somebody goes the other way? Is it going to be like completely disqualifiable? Is that
What do you mean?
As in, okay, let's just say there's a dancer who goes, I'm going to wear a very masculine clothes and dance very masculine. Will they disqualify you because you don't dance a certain style?
Well, what I think is happening now is that they open the space to allow both to live in the same realm.
I mean, shouldn't it automatically? Like, why was it ever categorized as like feminine solo dance, masculine solo dance?
If we had enough people in the industry to make that happen, and it's cost effective,
I hear
they
what
will
you're
make
saying.
it happen.
You're saying I should start doing it. Oh,
Yeah. It's just a matter of of costs. Is it
Okay.
worth it to have a category for that?
I'll
Yeah.
put my hat in the ring. I think the effeminate movement is just far more appealing to watch in general.
I disagree. Maybe look, there is still like I come from a.
It's still working.
It is still worth. I'm not saying that shouldn't exist. I'm saying that and the other should exist. You cannot say if you look at any hip hop competition, there's very little effeminate, and it's very popular.
Yeah.
I think it's surprising that nobody's gone and been like, okay, let's mix it up this year.
Yeah.
You know, or let's give this guy a chance because he's technically should be in the same category.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone even attempts. It's the same thing. Like you didn't want to join. You said you didn't want to join because it was more effeminate.
I try and I couldn't find my jam in regard of how do I want to look. It took me a while to understand what is the dancing that I want, regardless of any tournament that you compete on or the many choreographies that I've done. It wasn't until recently that I made peace with my style and the way that I want to perform and the way that I want to look when I perform. And it took me a long time to do that. So I haven't get to that point in bachata. So I'm in that weird mix where I'm still not finding as
Your
a soloist. I know how to stand dancing in a partner or in a team and in bachata, both in salsa too. But as a soloist, is a different element. And so for that reason, it's been a little bit hard for me to get into that because I don't feel that what the industry is asking for has any space for me. It's like, for example, cha-cha-cha, which, by the way, Robin just won the awards, and they started from here because Australia won last year, and we won again. We won again this year, so it's very, very good, and I'm very happy for him. So when I decided to choreograph that, which was last minute, I was on the Worlds, I was already there, and I said, "Oh, this is this category that I can perform," but I didn't have any doubt that was me. I'm a cha-cha dancer. I don't need to look for the cha-cha dancer. The cha-cha dancer doesn't look like it. I am the look of the cha-cha dancer. So for me, it was very easy to decide I'm going to choreograph this routine today. I invested a few hours. And I know that it sounds like arrogant in that way, but I did choreograph it a few hours before. And it wasn't hard. It was easy. It felt right. It was comfortable. It was the place. I didn't choreograph it in those 2 hours. I choreographed it in all the classes that I did over the years, all the style that I've been pursuing over the years, but it felt natural. It felt right. So if the whole idea of a dancer is finding that place to be.
To have your voice.
To have your voice.
And so then I think that's what confuses me. Like it sounds to me that if you have a voice, or even if you're not unsure about the voice, is it not encouraged that you should show that because it's different? Like it's not like you picture a dancer of a style.
Yeah.
If you're slightly different than that, wouldn't you stand out, or you don't want to stand out in a competition? Do you want to compete within that style, within that look, within that? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it be advantageous to go, here's something different. Here's my voice.
Yeah.
Right?
And honestly, when you analyze the greatest dancers that the country has or the world have and the world has, we're gonna find out that always on the top. So when you see the top dancers, you see the different people, different dancers, all of them with their own voice, all of them with a little bit of greatness in different ways, and it's always beautiful to watch. Even in Australia, when you analyze in the big festivals who are performing at the end, and you see them all, and you see them that all of them are themselves. But then you look down and you start looking a copy of a copy of a copy, which is still fair. I'm very lucky to say that I have maestros from all over the world, so I took from everywhere. But I'm tall, I have an afro, and I'm flexible. So it's a combination that is different. My strength is in afro training a little bit, and body movement, and like I can do a split. That's not normal for a man. So it's finding those spaces where you are yourself, and
you can stand out.
and also maestros that allow that space for the students, and say it and allow a little bit of freedom. I was one of the teachers that I struggled with insecurities, and I wanted to keep everything in the way. Right now, if my students want to go to an ICAD, what can I say? I don't own them. I can only guide them, and I can only encourage them to do certain things. But I always mention that unless you're doing it on a team, try to find your voice. Try to find who you are as a dancer. Try to find how you move.
I think, look, going back to the subject on this is, I understand that the voice is important. Like, how do you present yourself seems honest to yourself. That's step one. But it just still seems, okay, I hate to put out names like that, right?
Yeah.
So Robin, for example.
Yeah.
When I first met him, I was like, oh, yeah, he's a cool dancer. Then I saw him perform, and I was like, this guy is great.
Yeah.
He's got a very unique voice. And the first thought in my head was like, if he goes to comp, it's going to be so hard, not because he's not a good dancer, because he just doesn't fit. It's like a triangle fitting into a square peg. You know that, Benny?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't, the look that they generally have, it's different. He's just different. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the height, if it's the way he moves. I love it. Like, I seeing it, I'm like, wow, that looks good. But I also know if I place him next to the other famous people, his style slightly seems off in a different way. He's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
He's doing it in his voice. So I was really glad when I heard he won. I was like, wow, hey, look, I think there's a certain...
So what in the cha-cha-cha?
Cha-cha-cha.
So here's my theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's my theory. There are certain dances in the Latin community that adhere better to either masculine or feminine styles.
Yeah.
Salsa, I think, in general, fits a more feminine style.
Okay.
One, just by the build of the dance, plus the fact that there is infinitely far more females doing salsa.
That's the main reason.
That's a big thing.
A lot of teachers are female.
And back to what I was mentioning before, right? In candombe, for us, one of the biggest thing my dad used to say is like, the best dancers there are the gay men. But you have to be gay men to dance good. This was a thing he used to say for a long time. So even when I was dancing, it was hard for me, even for me being somewhat gay man, to not be able to be nearly as effeminate because my visual is quite masculine no matter how bad. So even if I try to be a little bit gay,
it feels like gay enough.
It feels like I'm
making fun of it.
Right? But at the time, Dad was just like, it wasn't even that. It was another guy. He's in our group, in our drumming group, which he would say, he's like, well, you have to be more gay. That's how the dancers dance. They have to be more gay.
Yeah.
And because they expect you, because some of the best dancers we ever had in candombe, if you were a man, you have to be gay. Right? Yeah. So, which is not the case now. Now they've adopted more of the Cubans. This is why I'm trying to get to my theory. I feel like dancers like cha-cha-cha adhere better to masculine movements. Adhere
Afro-Cuban.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Afro-Cuban. There's a dedicated style in Colombia, in the rumba Colombia, which is dedicated to masculine movement. Doesn't matter if it's female or male, you got to do it in a masculine way because it's meant to be the man doing it.
Yeah.
So here's that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but also salsa in general adheres to one thing, which is the leader's support, which is usually a man.
Yeah.
And the followers, they are who build the dances and the style and the look.
This starts me on new rant of this. You're the frame, I'm the picture. Oh, yeah.
The thing is, here's the thing: costumes are shit now. Like what we're not this costumes, but I'm saying what we wear as a society now is basic as shit. Sure. What am I gonna wear? Fucking. Well, I'm not gonna wear fucking this shit that they wear on TikTok for a performance. Who's gonna wear that stuff?
I'll show you some hip hop stuff.
The hip hop stuff sounds like
it's not.
Why does it matter? Your point was on stage.
Yeah.
You're not going to wear that for performance.
Yeah.
What if there are people who, and that's the thing too.
I think hip hop is not a good comparison. I will go more towards circus, certain circus idea.
Even
It's
circus,
more-
their
it's-
costumes
it's more,
great.
yeah, but it's more towards that. It's more towards musical circus. Yeah, it's that's
Broadway.
Broadway. That's kind of more towards the look that what we're talking about.
But why? Why towards there?
Again, it's because of the practicality of what they do. So,
I mean, you've got one of the styles. What's one of the styles called? Cabaret.
cabaret. Yeah.
Right.
So it's strict.
This is based off a culture.
yeah.
Of strict. But even then, like if you looked at circuses,
Yeah.
the costumes have evolved to a point of like they're using like 7 different kinds of material depending on the stretch that they have.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on, they will have sensors in them so computers can track them. So they've got a high waves. You know what I mean? There are materials in there that is stiff. So even if they fall, there is a shield
Yeah.
built into them. I'm saying it's evolved to that point where it's like technical.
Yeah.
And you better have to go there. What I'm saying.
yeah.
But
I think
Soleil is it's pretty gay.
pretty.
You know what? That too. You know what I mean? The ones that you selected, the cabaret and
It's
the thing.
pretty gay.
Yeah,
but that's how it was.
That's
I get that's how
I mean,
it
just
was.
imagine there was a cabaret show, and it was 90s hip hop
yeah.
Okay.
outfits.
Yes.
Yeah. You wouldn't be able. You
I'm not saying to copy it, but I'm saying.
But
the
do you see what I'm
evolution.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
If the evolution goes towards hip hop, like even now, I went to 2 or 3 actual showcases of hip hop,
Yeah.
and it's sweatpants.
Yeah.
It's jumpers, gray.
Right.
No thought in.
No.
That's the
symmetrical. So that's the thing. Like even okay. I'll say, even culturally it was so hard. So I'm low level, right? I'm down here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a performance ready, and I told them, let's not do what people traditionally do. Pick a costume, make a copy. Like if there's 20 people, don't let 20 people wear the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Let's vary, let's shuffle it. So
Yeah.
there's a theme to it, but it's not what everyone's wearing.
Yeah.
Guys, okay, let's pick army. Okay, I'm going to wear a t-shirt. I'm going to wear a handkerchief on my pants. Girls, they just picked one costume and everyone bought the same thing. Right? Like, because it's so hard for within the girl culture and the Latin culture. And then the Latinos were like, yeah, we wear the same thing. Like, I'm trying to just the shuffling of costumes in a group.
Yeah.
That seems
but that's
so mind blowing.
But I think the 2 different issues. So as a director, you gotta choose, and you gotta choose, and you're gonna work with a budget. And I think this is a very important part in the industry of salsa competition, even at the Worlds, in the one that Robert just went, the salsa summit. There is no points for outfits because people used to struggle a lot to just get to the competition. So the culturally, historically, outfits are no part of the points. You don't get points for outfit. You do get presents. You do get presents with the outfit represents you a little bit more and makes you feel a little better, but it's not part of that because sometimes it could be a struggle to actually get an outfit that represents you.
I think that's what
Yeah.
makes it more.
And
Like the amount you guys pay for your costumes is not cheap,
no.
right? Like everything from shoes to costumes, this thing.
To the trip, the travel, the competitions, everything costs.
It's expensive. What I'm saying is there's now better material. There's cheaper stuff, and it's not the cost anymore. It's the design. You're kind of limited to that specific design, so you have to have diners. You have to have. I'm going into like just the design of it. I'm not talking about anything else other than the design. It's kind of limiting, and it's also locking in the people who've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And like, this is what we make. Take it or leave it. And here's how much it costs. And you have no say to go.
It took a long time of conversation with our designer to get to the outfit that we got, and it was a lot of it was struggle. It was struggle. It was a struggle for us to actually get. Yeah, we're happy with this, and we love our designer as a human being, and we love her, and she's great. But we really struggled to find and tune the conversation of bringing the ideas that we have, and in part because we probably didn't communicate them well, but also because we got a better eye to understand what we want and how we can make it happen. But I think in regards to the topic, which is an amazing topic, and I would love to be able to design something that is more practical, especially for the things that we do. Like I have a trick that she has to slide, and now she gets attached to my hair because of the stones. And I've been dealing with these issues since 2009. And we find some solutions here and there. We used to use what do you call the plastic one that they cut you? Yeah, there is a material. There's a material that is like it has like
Holes in it? What is
no, it's just pieces of plastic, circle, usually very shiny. A lot of them. They change color. If you add to them.
Oh, yeah.
How do you call that material? Well, in the past, they were made in a way that they would cut you, and I would do all the tricks and then we'll finish with the arm. And the same happened with the stones these days. But now you have to change the way on the patterns and the structures and the outfits depending of the style that you do. But it's pretty much related today to costs and budget, I would say. And
this is what pisses me off, like, because from a designer point of view, there are cosplayers, cosplayers.
Yeah.
They make amazing things with foam.
Yeah.
And not one dancer went to a cosplayer and went, "Can you do that, but with functionality?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they do that for movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
But again, we're talking about money. We're talking about how much.
but
is
that's
that.
going to be cheaper than having 10,000 diamonds that cut your partner and they cost you.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
also convenience, though.
But it's convenience. It will be convenience.
To redesign something
Yeah.
does, in the end, cost a lot more time than having something that is a tried and true.
I mean, the 3D printing exists.
Now,
You know what I mean?
it's
Yeah, I'm talking about
can
now. Like if now something, I'm not talking like what I'm saying is it's evolved to the point where it's become more and more convenient. All right, we're talking the hell out of the sun.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go to an actual subject.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
I love how it
I
has
feel like we were in
We were fighting against
You know
it.
the view?
Yeah,
You know the
yeah,
view with a bunch of ladies and you just go.
Hey,
That sounds-
it's the whole point of the show.
It's
That's
we're the
good.
view.
Okay. All right.
I'm
So-
a big old bird.
Another topic.
Another topic. Okay. You would say you're a champion.
Yeah. Sorry. What?
You're a champion, no?
Yeah. Well, we'll say it could be. Yes.
Okay. What's the difference between a champion dancer
Yeah.
and a non-champion dancer? Like, what makes somebody a professional champion dancer and not?
These days,
Yeah.
timing.
Timing.
Yeah, just being in the right place in the right time, and with a little bit of luck. You're gonna train. You're gonna be good. You're gonna have a choreography that backs you up, that represents you, that you're comfortable with, and then you're just gonna find the competition that suits, that puts you in a better place to perform your best. But that will include also playing a little bit of the game,
Okay.
learning to play the games.
Politics, you mean?
A little bit of politics.
Okay.
Study with some of the best ones, because you're gonna be part of the game, but also those people know what they're doing. They have a lot of good knowledge in regards to dancing, and I'm very lucky that I trained with some of the best, and I have a lot of knowledge that it served me a lot, especially with my classes and with my own training. So I think the key will be that the difference between a champion and a champion will be related to luck and also being surrounded by good support system, teachers and assistants.
Is there some?
I'll ask.
Yeah.
Do you see a difference in having been a champion next to someone who hasn't, in terms of
I
your
don't know,
success,
the-
your success as a artist?
Yeah.
Have you being a champion helped that in any kind of way?
I do believe there is a little bit of that once they go up to the studio and then see the trophies. There will be a little bit of more acceptance and quick legitimacy. A little bit, but I think my Instagram is done a lot more for me than any of the other trophies.
I think
that
that's
I've
maybe
gained.
that's a better way of asking it.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between an artist and a champion?
they've
An
got
artist
goals.
would be social media. They've got great influence,
Yeah.
but a champion would have all the trophies to back eye,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not necessarily a social influence. They would be within that circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the? Because you're bridging both, right? Like
Yeah, I'm
you're now
trying.
in both.
I'm trying to do both, man.
Do you see other artists who never competed,
Yeah.
who are getting called to festivals, who are doing big things
Yeah.
and making money both on social media and otherwise, versus you champion?
Wow, very few, man. Very few
Very
of dancers that are doing that
Okay.
currently. Europe, Australia is very hard.
Yes.
Australia is very far from everything else. So this, if I were in another country, things would behave different. I'm very proud of the school and the way that is going.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things in the admin place that we can do better, and we're looking forward to train. But we still, our priority is still for us is taking care of the people and dancing. So there are two. It's not a priority like it should be, but we have two priorities. We still want to dance, we still want to perform, and we still want to keep the cost low and want to bring more people. All of these are happening at the same time. But again, to be the trophies, they don't mean much. Like one of my favorite performers is Rodrigo Cortázar. He's a salsa performer, and he dance no competition. He's judge a lot of competitions, but he's great. And when I train under him, one of the things he said, Pedro, you don't need to compete. You don't need. You want to try it because I like the training. I like the structure. I like what you learn. I like I like the feeling of being surrounded for people that just want to be better. All right.
Can I reflect? I think that we talked about this too.
Yeah.
Like I hate competitions. I am so anti-authority that
Yeah.
getting into any competition is like, "Ooh, you judge how I dance." Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the only thing I actually like is what you said: the training for
Training for it.
the seeing other people train with me.
Yeah.
All of that makes me go, "Oh, this feels good." You know what I mean? There's a focus to it. There's a end goal.
Yeah.
It's not, hopefully my video gets viral.
Yeah.
There's an end goal to it that feels like we all suffer the same way. Let's all suffer and do our best.
Yeah.
And maybe it's to me, like win or lose, we're a different class of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a way, not that I never.
So it is again. We're going to a tribal thing where we are working together for a common goal that we enjoy. So again, looking back into La Familia, which is we weren't sure. Should we do teams now? I'm not sure because teams hasn't happened in a big way for many schools since COVID. So once COVID happened, there was a hate in regards to performing and people that wants to perform. But it happened that it's a lot of people that wants to perform, and competition for a long time were the only way that people have to perform. It wasn't because people want. I have a lot of people that don't want to compete. I want a lot of people that don't want to perform,
But they won't.
but they want to improve. And then competition was the way that we had to improve. I'm performing, and now we're gonna have a showcase every year called La Familia. I'm gonna do it next year. I'm gonna do it earlier, but hopefully starting early, organizing and with everything in order. So we make it happen. But it came out of nowhere. We were saying like, hey, should we do a team? I said, Tiffany said, yeah, we'll just let's throw two teams. And we'll see what happens, and we do a little showcase in the studio. And we end up with 7 teams out of nowhere, and then plus the other 13 routines that we already have, and they have 23 routines. We invited this guy as well to perform, and then we have like a big thing happening with live band. It was beautiful. But what is more beautiful is that everyone in that event, including the audience and the band and all the participants, they really felt connected to something that was their own, to something that
They can cool down.
that they really enjoy, that they were proud of. And I think this is the thing that competitions could do for you. In this case, competitions, they are one way of doing that. I like more like cost efficient in talking about business wise, inside performance showcase than going to competitions. However, they build the industry, and we can find a way to support each other.
Right.
So that's why it's so hard. How do we support festivals? Or how do we support parties and the industry when I have to eat and I have to sort of manage my own ecosystem of the economy. So that's why. Sorry for the answer. No,
that's good.
yeah.
I really I love performing is my biggest thing.
Yeah,
Like you.
you're
Love
great.
performing.
I love it. I
Like
love watching you.
I belong on there because it's my creative space. Competing is a weird beast because I have not a hate-love relationship, but when I do it, when I do aim to compete, I really enjoy it. And the same reason is to challenge myself, to build my skill. I never go there to see if I can be someone. I go there to just do the best I can do for me. And the times I've competed have mostly been for kizomba, for the sake of kizomba's sake, to see the legitimacy of this dance. Because it's not a performance dance.
Yeah.
It's not. But now with the styles that are coming out for kizomba, you can.
Yeah.
You can
It's more
now-
showy. It's more
you can
possible to put a
instead
show
of-
on. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I only just wanted to do that just to be like, kizomba's a fucking legitimate
Yeah.
thing.
Here's a showcase.
I won it a couple of fucking times. I'm not world champion, but I'm at least in Australia. I've won it a couple of times. All right, I was it. So
I agree. I think it's also important to introduce people to new styles. So it's important for a kizomba star and a bachata star and a salsa star to all.
But it's important also to take into account that the style themselves are an expression of the culture that surrounded the people that is included in there. So I'm very proud of Cortez in this case because we get to teach the way that I learned with my girlfriend when she was 15.
Yeah.
When I was 15 too. So that same style I still teach it today, and I'm bringing it to Australia. So even though yes, we dance salsa with the lions and things, but the culture we also bringing it to this country and
Just less French kissing.
yeah.
I have one question. What's with the boot?
Yes. What's with the boots?
What's with the boots? The boots come from.
Wait.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. Guesses.
Guess. Yeah.
Oh,
What's with the boot?
What's with the boots? It should be a boring answer.
No,
That's
it
what
should
you
be fun.
should say.
I'll give you one.
I mean, you can try fun,
Okay.
but
I'll do
but it
one.
will be boring.
You were like, what's the most inconvenient shoes to dance salsa in? I will show you how I can still dance in that.
I was just gonna say you put watermelon in it so you can feel the squishies.
Yeah, every day.
I think it's a fake boot. There's nothing in the bottom. It's like
nothing.
barefoot on the floor.
This is just that's his actual foot.
Yeah, that's gangrene.
That's just gangrene.
That's
It's like Mr. Jeans.
After classes, I go to war every night. That's why I have the boots. We go to battle and fight. Yeah,
it's a mental battle.
it's
I get it.
yeah. That's why I need to be ready all the time.
One more guess.
Go. One more.
One
guess?
more, yeah.
Yes.
I think you just like the idea of having sex with just
The boots. Exactly.
nothing else
exactly.
to
You take the socks off.
Yeah.
just the
Just take
socks.
socks.
You
Yes,
take the
exactly.
socks and then put
But just the boots.
It's
Yeah. The
bush.
feeling.
Yeah.
Bush. Yeah,
Socks.
that's
and
it.
you never
Yeah.
let go of that feeling. So you
Yeah, it is a great
Yeah.
feeling. It's a great feeling. It is a great feeling.
He wants to feel grounded.
Grind.
Okay, we had our fun.
He's a boots on the ground kind of guy.
So the real answer is simple. It's kind of simple. Dance shoes are one of the worst things that we have for dancing, but it is the thing that we use. They're one of the worst things for our feet. And it took me a long time to realize that all the pain that I was having
Yeah.
was because of the shoes that I was wearing. And again, I had great dance shoes, and Vivas was our last sponsor, and I love the shoes. But then my feet were hurting, and they always did that, but I thought it was normal because
Right.
then I saw the shoe, I saw my feet.
Yeah.
I saw the shoe, I saw my feet, and I said something is not right here. And I started trying different shoes, and that applies with my Nikes, and I found a good pair of Nike that did the work. And then it didn't feel quite well. And then
I
one
don't
day,
like where the story is leading.
yeah,
Are you trying to say the most comfortable shoes you found was this one?
yes.
How?
Yes.
Actually, I agree.
That's how.
How?
That's how.
Disagree?
So I realized that policemen and the army,
Yeah.
they will have to go to all these places all over the world with one pair of shoes. That's what they wear everywhere, and they had to be good. and they had to be good. And it was a program about I read about them, and then I bought one and I put it on. And it's true. There are all kind of army grade type of shoes that are very comfortable. They protect your feet. Your feet is always breathable shoes. They're comfortable and they're wide, which is the most.
So is that why you
important
decided to wear this for competitions? From
I wish. I swear I wish. And on the last performance, when in the team that he's with us, I said, okay, what are we gonna wear? Everyone like white shoes, red shoes. No, let's use black sneakers.
Oh
Yeah, it was the happiest show
Hey,
ever.
not an ad.
Yeah.
It's kind of an ad. If you want to sponsor us,
Yeah,
play
yeah,
those. Have you tried that?
The boots, the also no,
Oh.
because I think they fall into the same pattern of
Ah.
skinny shoes.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
you have wide feet, just like I have the same issue. I
Yeah,
get softer.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. Again, I don't want to go into the costume thing. I
Yeah.
don't know why the formal looking shoes.
Yeah.
I love sneakers.
Yeah.
And I think I was so against Quavers for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I tried them. It was like instantly, like you said, it's the shoes. All
Yeah.
the pain instantly went away.
Yeah.
So as a dancer, like footwear is so important.
Yeah. So this is the thing, like when
Sponsor us.
that's the reason.
Give us some free
Keep us
Fuegos.
free
Yeah.
flavors. They're not cheap. Thank you. Okay.
This is the reason why I
Yes.
actually wear the boots, and I try to stay in this brand called Magnum.
Yeah.
Give us some free
Yes,
Magnum.
Magnums.
And they happen to be
Magnets, but there you go.
comfortable, and I can dance on it. They feel better than any other sneaker that I ever wore, and they're durable. I usually go to the gym with gym.
How many do you have?
I have one.
So these must reek like.
Oh, these
No, they
is
don't.
expensive.
They don't. I promise.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
That's
try.
right.
Yeah, you can try.
Yeah.
They don't.
What happened?
No, they don't reek. And the thing is, I just buy one every 4 months and the same, and I use it for everything. Now I'm gonna try the Bebo food, beer food that are like that
Oh, yeah.
to see how I go. I still haven't gotten used to the look because I just go.
I remember one of the first things I did when I started dancing.
Yeah,
I had this thing for myself where I wanted to get good, but the way I measured it is I would buy a shoes and I'll dance till I can see the hole under it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I did it. I
Wow.
danced so much that it
Wow.
became so flat, like the grip went away, and it was actually nicer to dance in. That eventually my socks started coming through.
Wow.
That's when I knew,
Wow.
okay, I am.
Okay, now I get it.
Wow.
am
You
actually
can ask me how
going
many
dancing.
dance shoes I have. Those I have.
How many?
Oh,
You put yourself in trouble on that one.
12, 14,
Wow.
probably of the same, very similar.
Okay, because you
yeah.
like them, or that's what was.
I think so. They kind of, for me, they kind of expire because of the use that I give them. Now I use them less, so I use it only in the advanced classes. So out of all my 15 classes, I will use it on 3 classes
Right.
because and on the team training sometimes.
Yeah.
But I will use the boots or something lower. But mostly, until now, I've been using the boots because I found that they were the best, the things that I can use. So I have high heels, around 4 pairs, and then lower heels in different colors:
Okay.
red, black, gray.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
So, which leads me to another topic that I want to talk about.
Okay.
How do I put this?
With what?
Does it lead you to it, or you
Words.
just want to?
No, it leads it because I'm not trying to make it sound sexy. Hold on.
Right.
I'm gonna make it work. You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
make
Okay.
put my foot in your butthole.
you see
No.
how he does? He does like,
Sorry, Daddy.
let me make it work.
I've been.
Call me
No,
daddy like that. Call me daddy like
Wait, wait,
that.
wait. What I meant to say is,
You want me to
forgive
get
me,
it?
Father,
Forgive me.
for I have sinned.
Okay.
Okay? I heard somebody on the dance floor.
Something. What do you hear?
I heard someone on the dance floor.
You hurt.
Hurt. I
Yeah.
had an accident on the dance floor.
What happened?
Well,
You were dancing too close.
no, my shoes got unlaced, and I said I'm okay, and I was dancing close, and another person from behind stepped on the laces. I let go of my partner and fell, and she grabbed onto me, so we both fell.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But I got injured on the dance floor, which is a question I wanted to ask you guys.
Oh.
What's the worst injury that you had on the dance floor?
That I got in the dance floor. The worst injury. I think it would be easily nothing major, by the way, until this stage. My shoulder took a long time. Yeah, it took a long time to recover. And this one, my shoulder took a long time to recover. And then a couple of years ago, I had when I was in Mexico, competing again and performing and organizing things, I got a big injury. A good, I don't know what happened at the end. I sprained my hip between my glutes and my hammies. Okay. And in that area, in between, I got something wrong with it, and I couldn't kick anymore, which kicks were part of all the routines. And it was because I overdid. And again, there's a lot of things that happened when I went to compete last year, which show me how not to do things. Which is basically, I had a plan for the whole year, like I'm having now, but then I bent to accommodate certain things and to make things work, and I only overworked myself, and I probably didn't perform the way that I would wanted to, and I didn't do it. But then that's how I pay. I pay with a big injury that I'm still struggling with it. Like I struggle to kick it the way that I used to with my left leg. Is recovering, and I can make it doing it on the side. But yeah, that's probably the worst injury that I've done.
Arthritis.
Arthritis? You have arthritis?
And the foot with the 2 toes.
Just 2 toes?
These 2.
No, yeah.
Oh, shit.
See? The shoes.
Oh, you get arthritis from, oh shit.
Well, it's probably hereditary, but it hasn't helped.
Yeah.
Because I danced for so long with my feet.
Yeah.
And these I already kind of stopped using those kind of shoes.
Yeah.
Those same reasons.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, my feet are squished in there. So I can't imagine if I was using them, how fucked I would be now.
Yeah.
If you do
the issue, like I've got issues now. I can't be on the dance floor for more than a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You see me a couple of times. I've had to kick off my shoes.
Yeah.
If I've got shoes on for too long, I have to kick them off. Or you see me having to sit down.
Yeah.
My feet can't handle it no more. Like I put all my weight on these 4 other toes.
Yeah.
And on the side.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever injured somebody on the dance floor?
That's so proud that I didn't want to do that to me. Oh. Yeah.
I remember you injuring somebody. I have it on camera.
Oh shit.
Wow.
The first time I think I met you, I was doing a video with both of you guys, and there was a showcase. And this was the news video, and you had a move where you kick over Tiffany.
I didn't injure it though.
But it was funny. Like I made it.
It wasn't funny. Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, it was. It was a proper kick.
So we're doing a fan kick.
Yes.
And Tiffany is meant to
Go down.
squat as the kick is happening.
Right.
And she forgot that that's okay.
So she just copped it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was. But actually, that wasn't my worst.
Okay.
I remember a long time ago, another dance partner. We did all these Colombian tricks that were jumping on top, moving the leg, and crazy things. And the floor was very slippery, so she ended up slipping. She slips from my hand, and she landed with her head. And I remember the sound, boom, boom, and then she sits up. After that, and fluids from everywhere of his body, on his face, came out like water. I never seen anything like it. She was okay, and I was glad we didn't perform. We didn't do more after that. We charged the people. Yes, we still did the show.
Yeah, of course.
And we charged the people, and then we left. It was awful, but yeah,
That's the worst one.
oh no,
I think I've seen some videos too. I saw like a pro performance. And I think he had her on the shoulder and he brought her over and he just lost control and she went face first. It took a second, got up, and then she kept going. So he followed up and you could tell like the face was slowly swelling up. But that's incredible. Like even watching the dances in Unidos, there's an added. I think that's the fun part a little bit. Like you don't want the dancers to get injured, but you see the floor and you go like at Unidos, it was concrete floor and there was like railings and they would do flips. And there's a part of you goes like, I hope they really practiced because if they hit the floor, it's going to be
They were those type of performance couples that would warm up, stretch the body for at least 20 to 30 minutes
Yeah.
before, and that's what they did. They had done that, trained they can only do it once the tech run.
Yeah.
And then the performance was fucking amazing. But you could tell that the amount of training they put in, holy shit. Like, these guys.
Which remind me that we didn't always did that, and people take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like dancers are athletes. Dancers need to be one.
Seeing it live too,
Yeah.
like video, when you watch it on video, you kind of discount it somehow in your head. It's like watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Like in some way, you
Yeah.
can't imagine the floor is kind of flexible or something. But when you see it live, you walk on stage and you see, if something goes wrong here and you swing. And I've seen performances where it's the other way. I remember there was a couple of performers who came from India to Sydney.
Yeah.
There is a culture in India like pain is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And they were doing stunts, like stunt people. Like they were on the floor and you can literally see the dust come off the floor and they were just slamming each other and doing things. Like they were really just taking it.
Yeah.
And I remember that doesn't feel right. It feels like it should almost, the danger should be there, but not the actual danger. But they were just like, this is how we professionally stand out. And it was like, I'm sure they had pads or something.
Yeah.
Because they would just like slam and slam on the floor. And just because I was standing next to a stage and I could hear them.
Yeah. And I have to say, in my past, I did a lot of that when learning, especially with Tiffany. We try to do things and we just push and make it happen. And Tiffany still have that, a little bit of that mentality these days, but we're looking for how can we flow out of that? How can we make them look effortless? And most of the shows that you see that are even winning competitions today is not about not only how amazing the things are, but how smooth they flow after. Yeah, it's amazing.
I think even in the dance floor, I think certain moves should be banned.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I'm glad I got some support. What other moves do you guys think, like, as a social dancer?
Any lift. Any lift.
Any
That
lift.
shouldn't be in the fucking.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be in it.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero lifts.
Okay.
No lifts.
Yeah. So culturally, back home, I remember my first class, I took it when I was 20. By the time I went to parties, weddings, and fun, and I danced through a lot of songs and the full song. And I don't remember ever complaining, I didn't do enough. But when I actually think what I did, I danced like this, and I did a couple of this, maybe some of this, and then more like this. That's all we did for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever the song, and we had a blast. So I think that's what he's also referring. Once you learn to enjoy the music with simplicity, you don't need a lot. Yeah, and you can still do highlights because you're getting better and you like to do it. But I'm one of those that if I lead a dip, my hand will be on it. Like I'm not gonna let her do it, and I know she wants it sometimes because I know when they can do it. But my hand naturally will be on the neck because it doesn't make any sense.
So that's a technique issue, not a move issue then.
Well, it depends on the move.
Yeah,
right.
Depends.
Like, let's say your lift is literally putting her on your side and then swinging back around, right? Which happens in kizomba. It happens in kizomba. Someone was like, I know this move and I did it one time without putting it. But if you don't know your own technique, which most of those people who decide to do it don't have the technique, they just want to fling a bitch.
It happened to Tiffany. I remember just dancing in a social, and we danced in a salsa, and then when I turned around, Tiffany was on the shoulder of someone, and I understand why she was doing, and she was looking for me like, and I found crazy that they think that's a way of showing off, a way to show I dance and I do more. Which it might be impressive in certain ways, but it's not the place. And I think it comes from there. It comes from
no lifts.
It's the way of showing off.
No lifts.
You can do dips of
dips are fine.
Even certain dips, you've still got to be careful because there's that one in bachata there. Fucking levels. This fucking
one. Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't go well.
And I have people that I dance that always dance with those people, and there might be a space and a time for those
Yeah.
something, but it's still, I think in general we don't need them. But again, it is education though.
Do you think it's one of those things now that there's a lot more cameras on the dance floor? Do you think it's that? Because when people get filmed, they tend to want to, even if it's photos, they tend to want to do a big dip or a big move. So they have
It's always
standout photo.
it's always gonna be someone who wants
Yeah.
to look at me thing. Doesn't matter if you no
Yeah.
camera or this should have been happening way before we started filming and putting it
Yeah.
on TikTok and Instagram.
Right.
It was the same.
So
I wasn't around us, you old people.
yeah, sure.
I agree.
But even now, it's just like if the camera, there's sometimes when the camera is accentuating a lot more the fact that person has to do an extra thing bigger than they have to do. Yeah, of course, because they're going to be on the internet.
Yeah. Somewhere. I think it's very common, and I remember since the beginning when I started dancing was a thing. And actually, it was even the big shows or the big competitions that I remember from the 2000s and those flash videos on some websites like these.
Vines?
No,
He's talking.
Oh, wow.
It was this size.
Okay.
This size. And you watch the videos on this side on the computer. It was amazing. So and the things that they would do was crazy, and it was amazing in a certain way. And we tried to mimic them and we tried to learn them. But it's not for everyone with everyone.
I think that's the thing too. I'm guilty of this a little bit too. You watch YouTube videos and you go, "Ooh, that looks cool."
Yeah.
There's a lot more, and without knowing the technique, you try it. Look, in the beginning, I used to do that and realized this is wrong. Like I feel like I'm bending over.
Yeah.
There's some positions, and then I learned the techniques of like you said, the dip with the hip. It's a safety for her and for the crowd. So even if somebody like elbows, you can say all of those things come, but they don't show that in the video.
Yeah.
In the video, they're almost doing the ones without to show off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then they go, "Oh, that's the way to do it."
Yeah.
And it's without the background technique, it's just dangerous to do it.
Yeah.
But everything else feels so.
That's on both sides, by the
Yeah.
way, because I've and this look,
yeah.
not to rag on Chata,
Yeah.
but it's happened more in Chata
Yes.
for me,
Yeah. 100%.
where the lady
Cool.
likes to
Yeah.
do her own dip.
Yeah.
Prior to any prep, I'm
Yes.
just like, we're just doing a like
Yeah. Which is a part of the dancing that I think is not quite popular yet. Because it requires a certain level. Back lead is a thing.
yeah.
As well as leading with your arms or leading with your body, like for the followers to prepare themselves. That's a thing that you do. So a good follower will find a place to organize my body for her to do whatever she needs, including a nice dip if she wants. But sometimes there is the assumption that we're gonna catch them out of nowhere. And certain people call it different, but it would be interesting to find how do I learn to find my own space as a follower so I can shine in the way that I want to shine, and how do I tell the leader, I'm taking the space to do these things. Take time, but it's one thing that we could do.
I think there's a lot of time when
Never stop it, you never stop it.
I never stop. It's all right. So 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I think kicks are another thing I see
Right, yeah.
where they do a kick and you're like, "Whoa, where's this shoe come from?"
I know, I see many of those. Yeah, who do you dance with?
Hey, that's the top people, man. You salsa and kizomba people.
Listen, we do like lifts. We don't do kicks. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Wow.
horse. There's a lot of horse.
Although
Yeah.
I'll just say we talked about role reversal a little bit too.
Yeah.
Where role reversal. So as in guys learning to follow.
Mhm.
That actually to learning techniques, that actually helps that even from the other side, how much prep you need.
Yeah.
There's a different feeling to it. You understand it more
Yeah.
when you're on the other side.
Yeah.
How important is that, do you think, like for people to switch their roles?
Well, again, it's always depend on the education as a whole. and the interest of the different students. This is not a simple topic. This is a for people that really want to learn. Someone like you that is over the years of developed and wanting for becoming a better dancer, both in the on the dance floor and on the stage, and that's the main thing. So if you want to be on the stage and want to help others to dance better, it is a no-brainer. So we teachers, we do it all the time. This is our normal one. And dancing as a leader or as a follower, I might not have the flow of doing social, consistent dancing as a follower, but I have a lot of the awareness on the knowledge, and it comes from standing on the other side in some classes every week. And I think, it's a no-brainer. If you want to get better, get to follow.
Tell us why.
Tell us why. Why are you Instagram? Why are you Instagram?
Because I want to be famous. So my Instagram. So there's always this idea for me of what I want to do, and I found as a teacher and as an instructor that I wanted to teach more and more people, and I wanted to reach more and more people, and I wanted to find a way to create discipline for myself. And the Instagram appears with more as a way of being disciplined in this new era.
We talked about this because it's a little bit where we were discussing how teaching helps you learn better.
Yeah.
And it creates all the structures that you need to learn, because you need to have consistency, you need to have discipline, you need to train. And if somebody asks you a question, you need to know why.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. So it's a cool avenue. Well, what's the Instagram?
PedroG.co.
So PedroG.co.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
.co.
Yeah. So it happened it's just my website as well. So
Okay.
you can use both, and you can have a look of the things that I do. But I think what I ended up finding in Instagram, what I was doing the videos, was that the most important thing is what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
You're showing up and letting week after week or month after month that you're doing these videos, you are learning and growing and finding better ways and more cameras to do this, and a better way to edit, and you become faster. And I found ways to make my speech shorter that only work in Instagram because in my classes I keep talking. And it actually helped me to express my ideas better. But one thing that I was surprised about is that it showed me that over the years, as an instructor that teaches every week multiple classes, you get stories, you get a lot of knowledge and a lot of little things that could help people to get more involved with dancing in different levels. And then you just need to take a lot of decisions with Instagram, what your audience is, which is a lot
I
of
think
help.
it's a very short form kind of thing, but I agree with you. I think even the reason we're doing this, it's a lot of sharing of experiences of different levels, and you never know what people pick up from it. And keeping it short form helps it easy. It's easier to absorb.
Yeah.
And I love your videos too. Like I watch a lot of it, and I told you this off camera. Like he does an English and a Spanish version, but something about the way he talks in Spanish, it feels like I know Spanish. You know what I mean? And
I think you are me.
Yeah.
You are me. You are you.
no, but it's like I think it's the way he expresses. I remember like a video about Punta Talon, and I was like, why does it feel like that's the right word to use? Like I feel like there's no English word for it, or is this something about the way you express things? That is amazing.
You're very expressive. You're very expressive.
Thank you. I'm very lucky that I really love what I do, and I love dancing and I love teaching. So the fact that I can put them together, and now I just put a camera and film a few videos. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Like this. Thank you guys for inviting me. Yes, it's a lot of fun. Surprise and hit me with some weird questions that I need to be ready for this.
You're always welcome to come back, but only if you grow some more beard. But
I will try my best. This is like month. No.
That's a month.
That's like a month, man.
We'll attempt to grow hair.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we
just
try.
shave some of that. Put that there.
Yeah.
And then
Get some here.
No.
Take it easy,
All right,
guys.
thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We're done. Exactly.